Thank you very much for that very inspirational answer that you gave us. Raghuram, whom you know, is the president of the Association of Surgeons of India and is a very famous oncologist. He has a question for you, Sadhguru.
Namaskar. At the very outset, on behalf of the medical fraternity in this country, I've just seen the video clip, which is a touching tribute, which shows how the frontline personnel, whilst placing their lives at risk, are working relentlessly towards treating, serving, and saving many lives. You'll be very pleased to know, Sadhguru, that the Association of Surgeons of India, which is the voice for the surgical fraternity in the country, over the last few days, we have raised a sum of more than 1 crore by championing a pan-India initiative to procure the much-needed personal protection equipment, which we are providing to the healthcare professionals across the country. Despite rising to the occasion, there have been many reports of violence, abuse, and vigilantism against the fraternity. And you must have seen our Honorable Prime Minister on at least 3 occasions in the past 3 weeks has brought this issue up and asked people to be more responsible. And as the president of the world's second largest surgical association, I'm deeply concerned at the manner in which a section of the citizenry are really becoming insensitive and cruel in many ways. So Sadhguru, this is demoralizing the medical profession on a daily basis. So at times of crisis like this is a time for reflection and change. And what do you think that we should be learning, the humanity should be learning during the troubled times like this? Thank you.
Raghu, I very much understand concern, and it's most unfortunate that certain sections of people have done this. But I think most administrations have clamped down quite strongly against that kind of reactions from people. Certain religious beliefs and other things has made this happen, and some people, out of their selfish motives within apartment houses and all, they've done a few things like that. But I think as a fraternity, you should not focus on this minuscule population which does these nasty things. 99.9% of the people in the country are right now seeing you as worship-worthy. That is where your focus should be, that minuscule population which unfortunately behaves that way. Yes, that also must be dealt with by law very strongly, I would say. Those people who have attacked medical personnel during these times must be dealt with a very strong hand. I think the government is determined to do that as far as I can see. So that will happen anyway, but you must focus on probably for the first time in the history of this nation, the largest number of people are looking at medical professionals with a completely different light. They are not seeing you as professionals, they are seeing you as an immense service that you are rendering to the society. So let us focus on that, let's not give strength to this minuscule population which does these nasty things. Yes, that must be controlled, and I'm sure right now largely it has been put down wherever it arose. There may be some small pockets which are still like that, but there have been… entire communities have been quarantined to control and regulate these things. So law will take care of that, and right now, as you see, both the central government and most of the state governments are acting in a very determined way against this kind of crimes. Having said that, if I can take the liberty of telling you a small story. You know, my great-grandmother was a very good storyteller. She said many stories in great detail. This one story stuck with me, and though I remember all of them, but this one thing was I was probably maybe 4.5, 5 years of age when she told this story to me. But this story kind of lived with me. There was a man who was a farmer, and he had a little bit of land and doing agriculture. Then he got two sons, the sons grew up, they cleared more land and they became well-to-do farmers. And when his time of passing came, he called both the sons and told them, whatever comes out of this land, do not divide the land, but whatever comes out of this land, both of you share it equally, 50-50%. They agreed. One of the boys married, had 5 children over a period of time, and the other boy never married, but still 50-50 it was going. So the elder boy who was married with children, one day, got a little worm in his head. And then he thought, I have a wife and 5 children, I'm getting 50%. He is alone and he's getting 50%. But I have my boys growing up, when I get old they will take care of me. Who will take care of my brother? He should get little more so that he has more wealth in his old age. But he is very proud, he will not take anything from me. So in the night, he would pack a bag of grains and stealthily go towards his brother's storehouse and put these grains there every night a little bit. And the same worm got into the other brother's head one day and he thought, I'm just alone, I get 50%, my brother has the burden of wife and 5 children, but he also gets 50%, but if I offer anything, he won't take it. So he also started packing a bag and putting it in his other brother's storehouse. So this reverse osmosis went on without anybody's knowledge for quite a few years. Then in their old age, one day both of them carrying a bag and coming in in the darkness of the night, they bumped into each other. They looked at each other and they realized what they have been doing. They looked away from each other, very embarrassed about their own generosity, and anyway dumped the grain where they have to and came back. After some time they died, they passed on. The townspeople were wanting to build a temple and they were looking for a site. After much search, they decided the best place to build the temple is that place where both these brothers came with these bags carrying, they were old men by then, carrying these heavy bags on their backs. They came and they realized what they were doing and they were very embarrassed with their own generosity and they looked away from each other but continued their activity. They said, this is the best place to build a temple. So, when we place others' well-being above our own well-being and we are not thumping our chests about what we have done, we are embarrassed about our own generosity, that's like a temple. So this is why I said, when you place other people's well-being above your own, you become worship-worthy. In fact, what people are trying to worship is just this. Why do you think they're going to the temple and calling for gods that they have not seen? Simply because they believe God places their well-being above his own. And that's the reason why he's become worship-worthy. If he says, what about me? I don't think anybody will go to the temple or any place So, right now you are rising in your stature, do not focus on these negative things. In many ways, as it should be, a teacher or a doctor or many other people who serve every day the society, they must all become worship-worthy. It's very, very important and it's beginning to happen. Let us fuel that, let's not focus on this small minuscule percentage of population doing negative things.